Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Tesla Life, episode 37 for January 17th, 2018. My name is Russell Frost. I am your host for the evening, and luckily I have my two favorite Tesla Life panelists here to keep me honest, or at least help me from I'll be looking less like a fool with their help.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Questions of like, oh yeah, Russell, we got your back. Yeah.
Sure.
Because I know it's all about me, but let me introduce you, my wingman on this show. He is our man in Canada, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. And we have got a ton of news, from a metric ton of news. It's remarkable. We had to drop news. There's so much news.
Crazy.
Crazy amount.
Piling up.
Mm-hmm.
So over to our next panelist.
And with us to help decipher all of the technical fun, I don't know. He's just here because we couldn't do the show without him. Mr. Tony Schaefer.
Yes, you could.
Well, we could.
Just saying, just to be official.
In my heart, Tony.
Yeah, and one of these weeks Tesla's going to stop making news so that we don't have to have so much news.
We take the week off then.
Yeah. I don't think there's any fear of that anytime soon.
Yeah.
It seems that you think a slow week is coming, and for whatever reason, Elon tweets or whatever, and it explodes.
And then it explodes, right? There's
right.
something, right? Some supplier breaks an NDA, and
exactly.
Or Elon decides that Tesla is now going to get into cryptocurrency.
That's one of the news stories. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Tony.
I was trying to think of something even more obscure and stupid than boring, but there's really nothing.
No. If you buy
at this point, you could say anything and it would be plausible.
Elon Musk has a breakthrough in cotton candy and will be deploying new cotton candy machines throughout North America.
Once you say you're mounting your old car on a rocket ship and sending it into a Mars orbit, anything's up for grabs.
Yeah, right. On a David Bowie loop. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, let's get into our first story. Some good news on the dealer front. Rhode Island. The Rhode Island decided to allow Tesla to issue them a state dealer license so they could sell vehicles directly to customers, which is what Tesla does, and why some states have fought that because car dealers have strong lobby groups and spend lots of money, and state legislators are pretty cheap, from what I understand. So I didn't say that, did I? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So according to the Providence Journal, Tesla is now free to do this. This apparently happened after a meeting with Rhode Island Governor Raimondo during the National Governors Association meeting last summer. Apparently, it took 6 months for that to come through.
Yeah.
Someone lost the paperwork.
Yeah,
it took so long to get from one end of the state to the other.
Yeah. And
the state uses rabbits to transport messages across the state.
Aren't rabbits? No, wait. No, they're slow, right? They should. I get it.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Yay, Rhode Island.
Well, one of the things that was not mentioned in the that was not mentioned in the article that I suspect here is with the picture of the three. I suspect that as a nod to Rhode Island, that Tesla will rename this color Rhode Island Red.
I wondered where they went.
He was working that, wasn't he?
I mean, you had the setup, you had the visual aid. That was nicely done.
That's how my brain works, man.
Just tell me though.
He's got a list of perpetual one-liners just ready to spring at any moment.
When did you come up with that one, Tony?
Well, actually, the Rhode Island Red chicken is the state bird of Rhode Island. So
that's right. But when did you just come up with that now, or have you been holding that back for like 5 years?
Oh no, I actually came up with that 6 months ago after the governor's
And
meeting.
he filed it away and just brought it up now.
Even more impressive, Mr. Shea.
I played the long hustle.
Well, speaking of some people that aren't playing the long game, Mark has a story about something going down in Amsterdam.
Yeah, this happened during this week where turned out that a couple of Teslas, an S and an X, were set on fire deliberately in Amsterdam. And they were on a crowded street, and they were separated by other cars. They were about 100 meters apart, which is about, I guess that would be about 300 feet. And for whatever reason, some vandals chose the two cars, lit them up, and as you can see, there's not a whole lot left of the cars.
Yeah.
So people familiar with the area indicated that this was certainly something that was directed towards these cars. Whether or not it was because they're electric or because people know they're expensive cars, that's up for grabs, because no one has been arrested in this manner to this point. But if you happen to be driving your Tesla in Amsterdam, be concerned about where you park that car, because obviously someone's got a hate on for those vehicles for whatever reason.
Yeah, that is brutal. The one thing that is missing, of course, is how they started the fire. I mean, did they throw a Molotov cocktail through a window, or?
Well,
yeah,
I have a clue. Wait, let me get back here. Look at all that liquid dripping down off the side of what might be an accelerant for a fire. I'm just guessing here from the video.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I would think that if there were an accelerant on the outside of the car would be engulfed in flames.
You would think, right? I don't know. Wow. Whatever it was effective.
Well, it's interesting that the fire didn't spread, beyond like the engine compartment. Maybe the accelerator was only sprayed on it, but even to see, there's no actual photos of the cars burning. Obviously, the fire department got there before, but like, how does a tire stay inflated when the entire front of the hood is gone from fire?
That's what I'm wondering. Like,
I know, yeah,
it melts aluminum.
Yeah, so interesting. Oh, there's someone that has it on video.
Oh my God,
that's a fire.
That is a fire. And you know what? And I was going to ask about the lithium ion, because, we know, of course, lithium ion batteries, once they go super thermal, they go super thermal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, actually seeing that, yeah, I'm sure those batteries lit up the night.
Yeah. That's neat. So there we go. A little video I wanted to share because,
it's quite relevant. Absolutely.
Yeah, but that super sucks. I mean, people who do that just in general, regardless of what other people's property it is they're destroying. Yeah, that's pretty.
Doesn't matter what kind of car it is. It's that person's mindset as to the lack of I guess caring for anybody else but themselves.
Yeah.
But our next story is a pass over to Russell, because, of course, the subject matter is something that he's commented on a few times here and there.
And
we're going to find out if he's really changed his opinion on the company in said article.
I made a decision. I made an editorial decision that I'm not going to feature weapons on this show.
I was wondering.
Not even in a creative attempt, a metaphorical attempt to make a point. Because I think I can make my points with words. So let me do my very best to make this point. Uber, one of my least favorite companies on the planet, and a company really pretty much at the top of the list for most dishonest and criminal corporations on the planet.
Allegedly.
And And this is beating out the New England Patriots.
Yeah, right. Uber, in the same week that it was discovered that Uber has a lockout program for their computers in remote locations, so that if they're being served by a warrant, all they do is they call this number. Someone in that office calls a number, and automatically the home office hits a key, and all of their computers are logged off the Uber system, which means law enforcement can take the computer, but there's no content in there. They can't get any content in there. That's an absolutely legitimate business application that could never be used to hide illegal.
No, that's just precautionary, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, oddly enough, the same people who brought you things like that, who brought you applications for going around police departments in various municipalities where Uber operates maybe without the consent of the law. Uber had a mole in the Tesla engineering program on the semi-truck.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly. And again, this isn't even this is not the first time this has happened. This is, things like this. Uber has been under heat for stealing from Waymo. That is Alphabet's self-driving subsidiary. And if you don't know who Alphabet is, it's Google. And as I said, the local server thing, and they've gone around local law enforcement in a similar manner. Needless to say, there's a pattern developing here, according to sources, that Uber spends a lot of time and money figuring out how to do things and not get caught.
Sounds more like the CIA than a registered company, doesn't it?
Yeah, because there's a good business plan you could take to the bank and get a loan with.
Yeah, but Uber's worth $1 billion, and lots of people who use Uber every day don't care about this stuff. So they keep on using Uber every day. And, in a sense, I think Uber's I think digital ride-sharing applications are really amazing, because what it's done is it's helped a whole generation of people not drive drunk like my generation did, because cabs maybe didn't exist in your town, and you couldn't get a cab to go from the beach to inland San Diego County at 3 a.m. Now you can get an Uber anywhere from anywhere, and that's wonderful. But sadly, the way Uber does business seems to be really skanky.
Yep. Absolutely agree with that.
I'm flipping through the comments on the electric article, and you got people on here saying, let's not bash the entire company for a few bad apples.
No.
Now, if by entire company he means the drivers who are trying to pay their rent by driving.
Absolutely.
But that's not what we're talking about here.
We're talking about upper management.
Yes. And it's more than just a few bad apples.
Absolutely. I have nothing against the people who drive for Uber. In fact, I have nothing but sympathy. A lot of them talk about how Uber, strangely enough, uses their software and uses other things to get out of paying them.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So, I guess, if anything, I just want to end this with maybe consider using Lyft.
There are other choices.
There are other choices other than Uber. Maybe consider using them, and supporting companies that at least pretend to operate within the confines of the law.
Haven't been caught quite as often.
Yeah, or caught quite as often. Yeah, nice. Yeah, is that how we're ranking companies now on the
number of COTS? Yes,
number of COTS index. Yeah,
number of news stories of alleged instigations that have happened. Yes,
I can say that the company for whom I work, I'm going to be taking a trip next week, and when I was booking my travel arrangements, I got a notification that the entire company is using Lyft, and Lyft is the preferred rideshare. So I was glad to see that it wasn't Uber.
Very good.
Just for this reason. Yeah.
Yeah. And I keep hearing people talk about Ubering and Uber like Uber's going to just replace taxi or rideshare or something. And that it always makes me shudder a little bit. because I don't want them to.
Well, they were first in the marketplace, and it's almost being used as a verb now.
Yes.
It's not, it's almost like Jello is not gelatin. It's Jello, the name brand, has taken over, and first to market allows them to drive a lot of that. So
yeah, and since it's a more or less made up word, or a word not common English, then it can get applied in many ways. I'm going to get an Uber. I'm going to Uber.
Yeah.
You want to share an Uber?
Uber it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. I do that all the time. Oddly enough. Well, Mark, I think you have something about verbal commands.
Yeah, I've got
Did I skip? Sorry, don't.
You skipped one, but that's all right.
Okay, well then talk.
I am going to see if this bad joke is "Orange you glad that you have."
Thank you.
Autopilot.
Nice.
Jalopnik put a posting in place, and I'll just share the screen here.
God, I hate Jalopnik. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
You did say it out loud.
On a scale of 1 to Uber, how much do you hate Jalopnik?
About Uber and a half.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. About 9.5 if Uber is a 10.
Okay.
So they have posted a video about someone getting around the autopilot requiring you to put your hands on the wheel when the system asks you to. So we all know that if you're running autopilot and the car deems that your hand should be on the wheel, you get beeped and alerted until you actually put your hands on the wheel, or the car slows down and puts on the hazard lights and pulls over. So some genius decided that they could wedge an orange in the steering wheel, and the car would think that there is a hand touching the wheel, therefore it would not disengage at any point with the normal, you've got to touch the wheel every so often. So just for the people that don't understand why people die in crashes, this is the reason right here. This is someone that thought it would be hilarious to put this on their car and go to sleep. It's something that is extremely dangerous. It's something that is it's just plain wrong. The systems aren't in place to be your robot drivers yet, and they will not be there for some time. So rigging the system to have it go a little bit further is just insane. It's interesting that this article did have a link to the video, and it was removed halfway through the week.
Yeah.
So maybe that's more of them decide. I don't know why it was removed, but someone has removed it by some sort of pressure. It's been removed.
I wonder if they removed it because they feared it was giving people ideas.
But then why would the article remain? Why would the picture remain?
Yeah, different people? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It really does remind me of, I think it was last year, where a guy taped a beer can to, was it BMW?
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yeah, same thing. And David in the chat room says a rubberized phone case supposedly works the same way. And then he follows it with, not encouraging it.
Bad, David. Bad.
Don't worry, David, I won't even mention it was you who said it.
So I would imagine any amount of fruit would work. If you have a banana, whatever is really available in your area and what is ripe,
and whatever's in season,
just fine. Yes,
right. Grapefruit if you want to obscure the entire dash.
Right now,
it is a scary thought, and again, who knows? Maybe this guy was just joking to put a picture on, but we have seen some of those scary videos before, where someone's driving from the back seat and somebody else is, speeding along in the passenger seat. Like, all these things have happened in the past. And then, of course, we've had the accidents. We've had people actually lose their lives while not paying attention to autopilot. So it's something that, this is not a toy. This is your life. And unlike maybe a video game, you don't get to reset it. So, come on, people. Get with the program. Just follow the rules. That's all you need to do. and you'll have an enjoyable ride. You'll have maybe a little bit less of a stressful ride. Autopilot will be able to take care of some of the things, just not all of it.
Yeah, this is where my lack of understanding really gets put out there for the public to see, because clearly I don't understand how the steering wheel works and detects the grip such that an orange, it really does have that sort of.
I'm sure there's, I mean, obviously the orange is putting pressure on the wheels. So
yeah, it's a weighting thing, I believe.
Yeah, it may.
Exactly. Yeah, I could see maybe if it's like pulling down on one side, but yeah, because I mean, there's who really drives at 10 and 2 for hours at a time. I mean, my hand's at the bottom.
Yeah,
I wasn't asking you. Yeah, let the record show Russell's hand went up.
I'm not doing it for any moral superiority. I've just been college training for the last 40 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And I actually try to shift to the bottom, and I just habitually go up to the top. Because somebody said like the top means your arms break when the airbags go, so you want to grab from the bottom. I don't know if that's an old wives' tale, but it's a dramatic tale.
It's one you do not want to see if it's correct or not. Yes,
I don't want to test that one. I just want to say I'm going to use this as an excuse to promote two things. Number one, if you watch What Drives Us, which records tonight as well in about an hour and a half, Jim McPherson of safeselfdrive.org. He is an attorney specializing in autonomous vehicle law, will be on the show for the entire hour. And just for all of you loyal Tesla Life show viewers and listeners, next week, the entire episode will have Jim on talking about autonomous vehicle law from a Tesla perspective. And I'm going to be sure to bring this story up next. And just to get his take on it, because people, I think the thing that we, where the problem with where we are right now in autonomous vehicle production is that we have things like fully self-driving and we have propaganda, we have marketing like that being sold to people, and it's not really the case. So then they come up with workarounds, right? Because we're humans, we're clever, we use tools. That's clever. Somebody figured out an orange can defeat the computer in the Tesla self-driving system. That's really, really clever. It's dumb clever, but it's
somebody also accidentally invented, gunpowder.
Right. Well, I mean, the Chinese invented it, but it was for fireworks. They never used it for weaponry.
Right. But do you think the first person got away, came away unscathed from that, that invention?
That discovery, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a spiritual thing for the Chinese. There were some other folks that came in and took it and went, this would be some bad shit for weapons. We need this. And I'm not saying the Chinese are entirely innocent, but again, that's the way these things start, right? Somebody invents something, somebody does something, and someone else subverts it for their own purposes. And it's happened over and over and over and over and over again.
Well,
yes.
Moving along,
yes,
we got a ton, metric ton, that is. We've got a story from Russell about voice commands.
Let's go to Inside EVs. 2 days ago, Eric Loveday reports that Elon has tweeted. Excuse me, it wasn't. Yes, it was a tweet. And I'll read the tweet for you. Someone tweeted at Elon Musk, can we look forward to more voice control before level 5 to maximize safety while driving? Since nearly everything you control on the Model 3 requires input on the screen, thus taking your eyes off the road more than most other cars. Can't wait for mine. Thanks. Elon responded, as he is wont to do, definitely, you will be able to do pretty much anything via voice command. Software team is focused on core Model 3 functionality right now, but that will be done soon. Then we will add a lot more features.
So there we go. And I've heard from other reviews that the voice command is working very well currently. So to have these other features being added will be interesting to see how that improves the car's usability. And as this person mentioned, keeping your eyes on the road at all times.
Yeah. Maybe I'm a little confused because mean, I have voice command now. You know, I mean, it's not like Hey Google or Okay Siri. I just have to start every command with honey, and then you know, phrase it as a question. So
Are you serious? Your
car
asked you to say honey before.
But my wife does.
No. I think Tony was making a funny ha.
It's like, honey, can you change the air conditioner?
Honey, where's the remote?
I suspect that in reality, Tony's making a joke.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I have this impression that his lovely and talented wife probably doesn't respond to the honey voice command.
No, actually not at all. No.
So it doesn't work.
It's not a good voice command
system. Not work very well at all.
Right, but I keep testing it. You know, one of these days.
One of these days, exactly. Someday this thing will work. I don't know when.
I keep trying to tweak her programming, but so far no luck.
So, I mean, back to the car. Clearly, this is a step in the right direction, and we want Tesla to deploy this as soon as possible so that you can tell it, turn on the heater, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you don't have to look away from the road. You don't have to touch the touch screen. That's a good thing. Now, of course, there'll be some fun accidents. You know, somebody will say, turn on the parking brake, and suddenly you'll
oh, God.
I'm sure they'll figure that stuff out eventually.
maybe they'll leave. That's one of the things they leave out. Parking brake is not part of the voice
no
command system.
Yeah. Shift to reverse. No.
Right. Well, if the situation were reversed, what?
Throttle full speed.
Right. You have to wonder.
Ludicrous mode.
Like, right? I mean, you know.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And, you know, I have to say, even if it's something as simple as just saying, you know, I don't know, there would have to be some kind of prompt word, you know, just say, Tesla, tune to satellite channel 33, you know, or turn to 80s on 8, or, you know, or bump up the air conditioner. You know, just little stuff like that is an improvement. So you don't have to take your eyes off the road and manipulate the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more of these automation features that they can implement that work well, the safer it's going to be to drive. Anyone want to argue with that?
Yeah, no. And I do hope, I will say there's the one thing that bugs me about the Prime is the audio commands, and in particular, the audio verbal commands, because it's, you know, so you have to phrase it very clearly. You know, play artist Queen, and it'll come up and say, play artist Queen, and then have you pick. So it just read back what you said, and then you have to pick Queen.
Yeah.
Queens of the Stone Age. God save the Queen. You know, no, you heard what I said, you stupid bitch. Just play what I want. And, you know, or
must be fun driving with Tony to work. That would be
no.
Play artist, the Doors, now locking all doors.
Siri is great for about like 1 out of 5 times, maybe, but the other 4 times, Siri is just a pain in the ass, and I hate things like that don't work. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Sorry, we don't need to go into a rat hole about Apple TV or anything like that.
No,
that's what we said.
That's next week.
It was actually a long running joke on Prius chat, and it probably still is. That with the Gen 2, it was almost like if it ever misunderstood what you said, the default response was setting temperature to 75 degrees. Like, what?
I like that idea, though. Like there's an ultimate default, so no matter what, it does something, but not something really horrible.
Ejection seat activated.
3, 2, 1.
Well, the next story we have comes from Road and Track, who did a full test drive review of the Model 3 and published it on their site. And I would encourage those that are interested to thumb through the article. It's pretty well written. There's been a number of great shots of the 3 as they took it out for its run. And bottom line, they were, impressed. They were impressed with the car's abilities, its fit and finish. There were no real glaring problems. They had an issue here and there, but really they were quite impressed with what they had seen, and that's great news for us that are waiting for this car to arrive or for our number to come up. That a car this early in the production seemed to be operating just fine, according to R&T.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And some great pictures, I have to say. Some of these pictures are just phenomenal.
Absolutely, yeah. They look much better than what we're showing here on a full screen. They're spectacular HD, so it looks really nice. So,
and they have built-in Pinterest links. Thank God for Road and Track.
Yeah.
Because you never know. You just never know.
You never know.
So,
no, that's the most important thing, is to be able to post.
To post to Pinterest. Just
yes.
One click. Well, that's very nice. It's very nice. I guess I've got the next story about Tesla Model 3s hitting for the first time ever. They're in the Tesla store in Palo Alto, and I'm going to share with you some photographs of that so you can see what's going on at the Stanford Shopping Center in Palo. There it is, the Model 3 on display. And you'll obviously the TV cameras were there. It's a big deal. Look at that. There's a Model 3 kick plate. An interior, just in case you haven't seen it, there's not a lot in there. It is, I don't mean that in any kind of negative way. It is wonderfully, elegantly minimal. It is amazingly minimal. If you haven't sat in a Model 3 yet, the first time you do, you're going to be amazed. There's nothing to look at. There really isn't. There's a steering wheel, 2 buttons on the wheel, and a display panel. That's it. There's nothing else to look at in there. Just lots of nothing. And there's people sitting in the Model 3 in the Tesla store. There are the brake lights on the Model 3. It probably won't surprise you that as a denizen of California, I've already seen several Model 3s running around here, even in North San Diego County.
Yeah.
Now, if you're one of the early reservation holders, of course, you get that large number 3 to put in your garage.
Ooh, I like that. One of those.
Yep, just an extra bonus. Remember to ask for it when you're picking up your car. But it's now been found that there are actually 3 Model 3s available to be seen in California. So there's one at Fremont Factory that is in their display area. There is one at Century City in Los Angeles, and then there's one in Palo Alto in the Bay Area. So and of course, other stories that have happened through the week, which you might have noticed on our Twitter feed if you are indeed following us, and if you're not, of course, the code for that is at the Tesla Life. So please follow us there and get news breaks throughout the week. But a number of people were really lining up. The cars were showing up on Friday afternoons, and of course we're there through the weekend. And at some of the at the 2 stores, they were having to give people a 2-minute limit to drool over the car before they wiped it off and ushered in a new drooler to come and take their place. So it was quite the mob scene, almost reminiscent of Apple iPhone lines outside the store, as people wanted to actually see and touch and sit in the car as it's something brand new to them, and many people have interest in participating.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I just want to share here we got the picture here of the of the screen, of course. But I want to make sure that you guys may have noticed that it was currently playing Taylor Swift's "Gorgeous" song. I just wanted to make that clear that.
Now, who was playing that?
I have no idea, but when they took the picture, Taylor Swift was on the music, or it actually wasn't playing because the play button is there. But I don't know, the silly things that I find interesting.
So someone got in a car and quickly paused it. Said, I'm not listening to that.
Right. Or someone queued it up anyway. But I mean, those are the things. Like every time I see a picture, the first thing I do is I look at the dash to see, you know, is there music? What are they playing? Or, you know.
That's just how your mind works, Tony.
Come on, I can't be the only one. Maybe I am.
Maybe you are.
Yeah, or it's more like I look at this picture and I'm like, hey, they like Tay-Tay too.
Well, the next story is kind of interesting that this problem has spread so vastly over the past while. The airbag maker Takata, they have another victim, which is some Model S's in the 2013, I believe, year frame. And they have had a recall. So Tesla is using their airbags in a number of the cars. And those airbags are now suspect and on a recall list as well, as many other manufacturers. In fact, really, basically the entire automotive world seems to have used these bags. There seems to be no one else that does it at all, because it seems every time you turn around, there are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of cars that are being recalled by different manufacturers for these airbags. So Model S's between the year of 2012 and 2016, the original Roadster, the Model and the original Roadster were recalled. The Model X and Model 3 remain unaffected. But I wonder if there's just different series of airbags in them that are made by the same company. I really don't know. I don't know who makes the airbags, if there is somebody else that does it or not. But man, this is I'm shocked that this company hasn't claimed bankruptcy and jumped out of this, because the amount of cars is stunning for the recall.
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of companies that make airbags. Takata is one of the largest, if not the largest. But I'm sorry, Tony, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's funny you should mention bankruptcy, Mark, because this is Takata's stock price. And
it seems to be on a downward trajectory.
Yeah, in 2014, it was as high as 60 here, and then you'll see that today, January 17th, it is a whopping 20 cents.
20 cents.
Yeah,
so bankruptcy may not be far behind.
No, and it looks like they hit zero somewhere around like June of last year. So, yeah, the company's not doing that great right now.
No, that's a problem, isn't it?
Could be an issue
when you're 20 cents. That's a problem. Okay.
But is anyone else is the number is incredible. I just can't believe it. Ford, GM, Chrysler, everybody seems to have these airbags in some of their cars. Like you said, Russell, they are the largest in the industry, or if not the largest, very large. But man, what a fall from grace. And the stories just continually keep rolling out. It seems month after month, somebody else announces that a number of cars have to be recalled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I'm even hearing horror stories in the automotive industry about, there's no airbags to replace them yet. There's the recalls are in place where people they're asking for the cars to come in, but sometimes there's no stock to put an airbag in. So you've got to wait. So think about that. You've got a time bomb sitting in front of your face in the car that if it was to go off, it could cause you damage. It may not.
And if that doesn't convince you to stop texting while driving, nothing will.
Oh, man.
Let's not panic anyone.
Well, that's a good bumper sticker.
It's a good bumper sticker. Yes.
We're talking about millions of cars, and we're talking about 4 deaths and some injuries, which is not to minimize those deaths or those injuries. But this isn't something that if your airbags go off, you're dead meat.
No, you're definitely not. It's not a foregone conclusion.
Right. But there's been more than a problem.
But you're rolling the dice, aren't you? Really. You have no idea. You don't know. They don't know. You don't know. But yeah, it's I don't know, it's kind of shocking it's gone this far.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Mark has
I'll probably do the next one because I think I've got a picture to show.
I bet you do.
And the trick, of course, is finding the picture on the fly.
That
is the
trick. Want to talk about the next story while you get that set up?
You know what? I found it. Okay, so what we've got here is the. Try to share the screen here.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun.
Mark.
Here we go.
Up.
So our friend Yo-Yo completed his journey across North America just a few days ago.
Wow.
He ended his journey where he started at the Fremont factory in California. And his journey consisted of over 20,000 kilometers, which is over 12,000 miles across the United States and Canada. And he brought his car to a finish where he started in the same parking lot to a rousing applause of a number of different people that stood out there till 8 p.m. So he parked the car and ended his journey, talked to the crowd again, and as a surprise, he even announced that this was so much fun that he is now going to do a European tour. So this guy cannot get enough of this, obviously.
Clearly a glutton. Yeah. Right there.
So he has announced that he will do a European tour, and he will start to release. He's going to start working on the dates and stops across the European tour soon and release it through his Facebook page to let everybody know ahead of time. So congratulations, Yo-Yo. It was an incredible run to watch. It was fun to see what he was doing, his videos that came up, the issues and solutions that he came up with on his journey was fantastic to learn about through his eyes and be able to share it across the internet. So we certainly look forward now to a new tour in Europe. But I don't know where he's going to get those supercharging stops across the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
Just don't know if Tesla's put those in yet.
Even if he can get it into secret James Bond submarine mode.
There you go. Yes.
He still has to charge.
He's got to charge somewhere. You know?
And, there's nothing quite like, plugging in your supercharger underwater.
Especially if it's cold. That's really tough. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, salt water doesn't conduct electricity, so who cares?
True.
That's a joke. Don't send me your email.
Please don't send us the email.
You also said you can charge in salt water.
Yeah. Salt doesn't conduct electricity. It's magic because of the salt.
It's magic.
A better conductor than fresh water.
Yes. It's a saltwater battery.
That was a joke. Well, finally, Tesla had a joke for some Model 3 owners.
Oh no!
Now, and I'm gonna plead on this. I meant to find out how to say this word. I don't know how to say it. It's Alcantara, Alcantara. Alcantara. I believe it's like a leatherish substitute.
Correct, or suede type substitute. Yeah. Yeah.
In the Model 3 interior, or as originally shown and as initially delivered to some of the employee cars that we've seen, there were headliners, and I believe it's on the pillars that were covered in Alcantara, this sort of suede-like thing. As it turns out, some of the most recent deliveries of Model 3s to consumers, those same spaces are covered in some kind of textile. And as the Inside EV's headline here says, this was changed, quote, with no explanation, no discount. Tesla's well known for updating their cars with OTA, for enabling new features, whether you buy them or whether they just decide to do that for free. Tesla's well known as being one of the only companies that does that. This is a little bit different, kind of after the sales experience change. And my heart goes out to the buyers here who not only who ponied up money for deposit, who waited a couple of years for their car, got it, and then, found something in it that they didn't really expect.
Yeah.
I have a picture here. If
you
want to
look at you go.
So this is.
There you go. Look at that. That's textile, right?
Yeah, this is the textile.
That's the textile
here.
Material.
And so the Alcantara, the suede, is more of this.
Look at that. Oh, that's so much
fun. My mouse just feels warm and fuzzy. Just running over that. Oh, that feels so good. I'm going to need a minute. But yeah, I mean, definitely you're expecting something like this, the soft suede feel. And then, and then you get this, which, I don't know.
Arguably doesn't look bad.
Doesn't look bad. I get, but if, I don't know, if you had your heart set on one and you got the other, I could imagine people would be upset.
I mean, a lot of people love to use the phrase bait and switch without really understanding it. But it is difficult. Again, if you saw pictures of one thing and we're expecting that, and then what you get in your driveway is something else, that's a reasonable issue to be disappointed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tesla did release a statement that basically said that they are providing a high or premier quality material for the headliner. They didn't specifically say it was anything, and they do have the right to make a change to the material if it's something that they feel is required. So kind of a cop-out. It's not admitting anything. All it's basically saying is that, we needed to make a change and we made it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. If you're going to do something like that, you generally don't want to do anything that could be viewed as a downgrade.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the issue. This fabric may be more expensive and maybe better. It may even look nicer. I don't know.
Right. It might be better to clean too.
Yeah. But I do know that, again, it's not entirely unreasonable for these people to be disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So here's hoping that Tesla can make a change and, follow that type of a rule book a little bit closer to, if they're going to do something, at least publicize it. Let people know that they're going to be getting this at a certain time in the future, as opposed to it's just been switched and you show up and not get what you were expecting.
Right.
Yeah, especially considering that, like David said in the chat room, the premium upgrade cost was $5,000. And this was, considered one of the items of the premium upgrade.
Yeah, that's not so premium.
Yeah,
That's not magical.
No, it's not. Not at all.
Well, Mark, I'm going to you right now, right? Do you have one more thing?
And it's funny you should ask, because I may just have one more thing.
One more thing.
And it's something that we like to snap a shot of when we can, or show a picture of one when we can. And here is what we came up with this week. So let me just share it here. Boom. We've got ourselves a new number. Wow. So it came up this week. 4748 was published. So we're getting close to 5,000 now on the number scale.
Delivered in San Diego?
Correct. Yep.
Oh.
It might have been yours.
It might have been mine. I have to run out and look. I know the VIN number. I don't have a Model 3.
But it's somewhat interesting, and maybe it's because it's getting old now. But there are a lot less people that are snapping a shot of the VIN numbers, so it's less. There have been there have been people claiming that they've seen the 5,000s already, but no photographic evidence. And you know us, we have to have the photographic evidence or we're not sharing it. So
Pixar didn't happen.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly. I just, does anybody else feel, everybody pretty confident that, yeah, they made all these cars? Or does that feel like, let's do a few hundred at 4,500?
Who knows? It's certainly not, it's not out of the ordinary that they would be skipping over some numbers for whatever reason, unbeknownst to us. But there does seem to be, some evidence that they're following it fairly closely. The numbers, you see numbers being released that are in packs, whether that's a color pack or something else. But I would say that you're probably in an area, maybe not exactly the number, but you're probably close.
You think some of them, they're printing them and some of them are typos. They're just throwing them away. And
they just toss them. That's right. Yeah. Or this is the exact same car every time, and they're just replacing the nameplate, just the VIN plate. They just keep slide a new one in. There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Number 10,040.
Yeah, we need a 6,500er. Get one made.
It's just, yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm seeing them around town. Here in North San Diego, I've not just seen the one that I had seen before. I'm actually seeing, infrequently, but I've seen three Model 3s in the wild.
Wow.
It wasn't the same car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something.
Yep. They're showing up, and there's again, pictures on our Twitter feed that we publish all the time of the different delivery centers. We've got trucks that are delivering them, and it's really tough to get a VIN number when it's traveling down the interstate on a truck. So I understand why we're not getting those pictures.
Well, tough, but not
I can do it, folks. I will.
so there certainly are. There are more and more out there, and there's more and more being delivered, and those trucks are rolling all over the place. So we saw this week on the feed there was a truck traveling through Missouri, and I was thinking, hey, it might be someone we know that's picking up a car in Missouri. But we have not heard back that a confirmation email has come through to that person. But
yeah, and I'm just saying, just ballparking here, or just off the top of my head. I mean, trucks have to stop eventually to refuel, or the driver has to run into the truck stop and take a leak. And I'm just throwing that out.
Those are opportune times when
we don't condone. We're not condoning anything. I'm just mentioning that the truck has to stop eventually.
Happened to put some Rohypnol in the coffee so you could scramble over the trailer and photograph the VINs. No one would.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Not that we're suggesting that.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Allegedly.
Grossly irresponsible behavior that we would never endorse.
Never.
But we would love to post pictures, but not endorse them.
If you happen to get a picture, feel free to send it to @TheTeslaLife or on our YouTube page, or also on our Facebook page, The Tesla Life #1.
It's probably best if you don't tell us how you got it.
Yeah. Just leave that part out.
Yeah, we don't need to know that story. Don't want to know. And if you're an employee of Uber, just keep your pictures to yourself. All I ask.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Mark, for that inspirational 4,700. That's impressive. Yeah, golf clap.
Here we go.
Yay.
Absolutely.
My production facility, folks. Good for them. Shall we say goodnight, Tony? Any shout outs this week?
Well, as usual, I'm going to shout out to everybody in the chat room. You know who you are. And as always, thanks guys for coming, hanging out. It's always, I always think it's fun. Just and if nothing else, to know that there's actually people who take time to listen to our rambling. I think that's great. Thanks, and hope to see a lot of you back in a little over an hour for the What Drives This show.
Yeah. Mark?
Switch me from presenting, Russell.
Am I?
Are you still presenting?
Oh, I didn't realize I had. Wow. That's it. No more presenting for you.
That's it. I'm done. I've had my share. But that's a great little card you got there. The graphic. Yes, the instant graphic.
And it's backwards.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us this week. We had a ton of news, and we look forward to getting some more next week and seeing you through the week on our feeds.
Absolutely. So, as Mark said, we're at the Tesla Life on Twitter, the Tesla Life #1 on Facebook, and search the Tesla Life Show on YouTube. Look for our cheery red logo and subscribe to us there, so you're always notified when we do the show. I want to thank Lee Moon for our theme music, who wrote, performed, and gave it to us for free. Yay! We're making millions.
Woo-hoo!
Well, we're not making millions. Actually, we're making nothing, but we have some cool theme music from Lee. Thank you for that. Thanks to everyone in the chat room. My personal thanks to Mark and Tony. No, wait, Mark and Tony. There we go. It's really, when it's backwards, it's impossible for me to figure it out. For being on the show, do tune in next week. Hugely important show. Jim McPherson from Safe Self Drive. We're going to talk about autonomous vehicle law the entire hour. Be in the chat room. Pepper us with questions. Think about self-driving questions that have to do with Tesla. We're going to have an attorney specializing in these things here to talk to us. And
join us in 1 hour. And you will see him on the What Drives Us show as well. So you get a double header. So join us in an hour.
I was trying not to use that phrase, but you guys in your
too late.
Yeah, too late. Hey, tune in next week and find out what's going on in the Tesla Life. See ya.